I'm breast cancer recovery life coach, Robin Fern, and this is the Survival is Insufficient podcast, where you learn how to get out of survival mode and into living mode, because survival is insufficient. Hey ladies, welcome to episode number 88, The Badge of Honor. Today's episode is a quickie. I had a conversation with a lady about a week ago, actually probably about 2 weeks ago now, and she talked about the idea of the badge of honor that she felt she had earned when she got through cancer treatments. But then she also talked about how that badge of honor started to feel like it wasn't so great anymore after a little while. And I feel like she was essentially coming to the same conclusion I had around the label of breast cancer survivor. Only she was feeling this around the idea of that badge of honor that you earn and wear after you get done with treatments. Now, if you haven't listened to episode number 84 called I Am Not a Breast Cancer Survivor, I highly recommend you go do listen to that one. It's a longer, more expanded episode than this one is. But I still wanted to do this quick episode because I think the metaphor that this lady used of the badge of honor may really resonate with a lot of you. So when most of us get done with cancer treatments, we have a sense of accomplishment. And rightfully so, right? I mean, getting through cancer treatments, no matter what your protocol is a big deal. Getting through the physical elements of treatments, the chemo, the surgery, the radiation, those things alone are an accomplishment worth acknowledging. And then coping mentally and emotionally through treatments is also worth acknowledging, no matter how messy or clean or strong or weak you think you were through it. You got to the other side. It's worth celebrating. It's worth acknowledging that accomplishment. And it's worth the badge of honor that many of us feel we are wearing when we get done. Metaphorically, it's kind of like that little prize you used to get to pick out when you were a little kid and you went to the dentist, right? It's like you did it. You were brave and strong and you did it. But, of course there's a but. You were ready for it, right? But sometimes that badge of honor starts to poke at you in an uncomfortable way. You've been wearing it for a while and it starts to feel a little heavy. At first, you may not recognize it for what it is. It's just like this low-level irritation. But then you catch yourself just feeling irritated a lot of the time. Something is annoying you, but you can't quite place your finger on it. It's like one of those itches that you seem to scratch all around, but you can never quite find the actual itchy spot. What I have found with the women that I've coached is that this is the point where that badge of honor is holding back unprocessed thoughts and emotions. It's like you get the badge pinned on your shirt and it's a sign of completion and accomplishment. So all of those built up emotions that you didn't have time, energy, or capacity to deal with while you were going through treatments just kind of get shoved off into the corner. It's like, hey, I got this badge. I'm a survivor. I'm going on now. I'm moving forward. And since I'm moving on, I don't want to bring all those yucky feelings with me. But the badge of honor doesn't mean that you get to leave those yucky feelings behind. The badge doesn't magically eliminate them. What that badge often does is it has you putting a lot of energy in trying to hold down those feelings from the stress and the trauma that you went through. It's back to that beach ball, right? You're spending a lot of energy and focus trying to keep this feeling suppressed just under the surface. And holding those feelings down actually keeps you tied to the trauma and stress of breast cancer. Your brain keeps cycling back around to it because nothing has actually been resolved. And when your brain keeps cycling backwards, it's really hard to look forward and to move forward. When those negative, uncomfortable thoughts and emotions start to make their way closer and closer to the surface, you might clutch that badge and tell yourself, don't think those things. That's all in the past. That's why I have this badge. Happy thoughts only. You guys, that's not processing emotions. that's shoving them further under the surface. And look, this type of reaction is not unique to women who have gone through breast cancer. This is an ingrained part of our society. Our society awards these badges of honor for lots of things that keep us focused on the outcome only and blocks us from processing the underlying thoughts and emotions. Things like being a workaholic, or just plain being busy all the time, or being a people pleaser, or being an overachiever. We are celebrated for being motivated and being a contributor and being strong. And behind each of these things that we reward in society is generally a lot of pent-up thoughts and emotions that people are trying to hold down. It's that feeling of like grinning through your teeth, saying, yeah, aren't I great? But at the same time feeling exhausted, overextended, frustrated, resentful, unbalanced, and a plethora of other emotions. The badge of honor we get after finishing treatments is in the same vein. People may say to you, oh my God, you're so strong. You're amazing. You inspire me. And those are amazing things to hear from other people. But at the same time, they don't acknowledge the flip side of being where you are when you finished treatments. The tired, the scared, the confused part. The part that is feeling a little overwhelmed. The part that needs to take some time to process what you just went through. And don't get me wrong, you did earn that badge. And that badge is not inherently bad. It's just not. For some women, it's not bad at all even. They are able to process through all of that and move forward. And that badge is never anything that holds them back. It only propels them forward. But for a lot of us, we don't do that work to process, to allow ourselves to move forward cleanly. So you need to be aware if it is acting as a kind of block to processing pent-up emotions. Ask yourself if that might be happening for you. Notice if you have the feeling of pressure building up and trying to escape, like your little Instapot on the kitchen counter. Be curious if you are trying to charge ahead and you're leaving behind a stack of unobserved thoughts and emotions behind you. Listen for things you may say to yourself along the lines of, stop thinking about that, I'm fine, or I'm moving forward, I'm not going to think about that anymore. If you notice this kind of thinking, try to shift yourself to a place of listening to yourself. Get curious. Y'all know curiosity is my favorite emotion to deploy when I'm feeling something uncomfortable. Ask yourself what these thoughts and emotions are trying to tell you or teach you. Try to get to that core belief or expectation at the center of that type of thought. When you do this, then that badge of honor doesn't have some sort of negative side effect. You can carry it without it pushing you forward too fast to be able to work through what is still lingering. Then it shifts to a thought process like, yes, I went through a lot to get to where I am, and I deserve to celebrate and to start to move forward. But I also acknowledge that I have unresolved thoughts and emotions that deserve my attention too. This is how you process things, by acknowledging them and understanding them. And this is what allows you to move forward without a whole slew of things that can create roadblocks and setbacks as you move forward. This is the work I help women do inside the Survival is Insufficient program. So if you're listening to this episode and nodding your head in agreement and feeling like this is you, then come join us inside the program. Head over to coachrobinfern.com/survival for all of the information and to get signed up. Next week, I have another client interview episode. Several of you have reached out to tell me that you really enjoy hearing from the women that I work with. So I've got another one of those coming your way next week. So I will talk to you all then. If you find this podcast helpful, I want to invite you to work directly with me to start living the life you fought so hard to save. I'll help you create your vision of the future step into your power, make powerful decisions, and manage all those mean girl voices in your mind. To learn more, head to CoachRobinFern.com.